Hey, what's up, everyone? It's RanDoM, aka Mark RanDoM, rapper, comedian, giver of philosopher and advice. This is Past the End with Mark and RanDoM. Um, this might not be a good session only because I just am tired and all these things, and I have low energy and my circadian rhythm got backwards. But I'm going to be giving advice on psychotic episodes and kind of how to deal with that because, unfortunately, I'm glad I could help people, but I've watched people go through schizophrenic episodes and not be in touch with reality and psychotic, and everyone always says who's met me is I'm the anomaly because they say he's schizophrenic but self-aware of it so he can maintain in reality. So hopefully I could give advice for that. Again, it is not a gimmick of me saying I fucking hate doing these types of sessions and shows, especially after I just got off tour of live performances, music and comedy every other night, sometimes twice. So I fucking hate this shit. Alright, that would make me love sitting doing nothing with low effort and no energy. And what I think collectively is the decline of humanity is if people are like, holy shit, you really helped us, or oh my god, you saved us, or you made our lives better, then it would be worth it. See, you can already tell the tone of my voice. It doesn't have that, hey, what's up, everyone? It's RanDoM, aka Mark RanDoM. It just has this, like, I don't know. So I do know I think I said that one of those sessions of like, oh, I don't know, you say with such conviction and passion, oh, it's X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z. I don't know though, just to like get out of responsibility card. So yeah, I don't have the flow or rhythm at all. I'm just saying words to say words. So again, management and company said, oh, let's try a different thing like this. Actually, it's because at the gym or whatever, I ripped part of this shirt, but it is what it is. It's not what it's not. So psychotic episodes are when you are detached from reality. But then again, you can question, like, what is reality? To me, reality is just a collectively based upon thing. Like, let's say, like gravity, for instance. The science is what gravity is and molecules and all that. So we all, as a society, collectively agree. The majority decides. If for whatever reason the collective decided that gravity was like spiritual weight or something to do with esoteric things, and every day you had to drink water or you would lose, gravity would go away, then that would be the majority of, air quotes, reality on what gravity is. Now the issue is when people have mental illnesses, they go far from the collective of reality, because reality is all in perception. And again, I'm going to give advice because I know this is like almost like pro schizophrenia, pro psychotic episode, like I'm subconscious saying, no, your psychotic episodes are right, reality's wrong. But I'm not trying to do that shit. It is what it is I made myself laugh, my ego got boosted right there, and then I lost my train of thought. Oh wow, Mark RanDoM. Ooh, calling myself Mark RanDoM. I usually call myself Mark or RanDoM. Who is this Mark RanDoM third character that came around? I hope this music isn't gonna screw up. What the fuck was I talking about? Damn it. Imagine they think like, oh, it's such a gimmick, like they have t-shirts and I become so successful, blah, 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 blah. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, it's not, I promise I'm not going to be like, oh, pro schizophrenia. I'm just going to explain from their perception. So it's like we have to now be neutral, because a lot of people that try to help schizophrenic and psychotic episode people, they're in reality and they are perceiving from afar. To me, I've been in both worlds many times. I mean, I've been in psychotic world a lot of my life. I just know how to assimilate in reality, and that's what I'm going to be teaching you and giving advice, and hopefully I can help someone who has schizophrenia or psychotic episodes. So, or just psychotic, borderline psychotic personality disorder. I don't know. I was never a fucking... reality is perception. So let's start on the basis that things aren't real and they both are real. It's not an either or thing. Like I said about the thing of gravity, if that's the perception, because it's like that picture. People look at pictures and see entirely different things. People watch the same thing and so the collective perception determines reality, but there's millions of perceptions, therefore there's millions of realities. Now, the way people end up in mental hospitals or in eternal suffering is when their perception is skewed so far from the norm, and it also caused their life suffering. There's people with schizophrenia that believe, I remember one guy in a mental institution, he believed he was Elvis. he had the thing, ironically, in that, what was that Will Ferrell movie where he could walk, but he was in a wheelchair, and they got mad at him because his, like, there was something neurological or psychologically, he thought he needed a wheelchair and would, but he could walk. It was kind of, I don't want to say weird, because when you're in a mental institution, it just is what it is. Also, it was karma, because I had just turned 18 like a month and a half, and I got put in the adult unit. So all the teenagers dealing with their, oh, my parents beat me, or oh, alcoholism, or I'm with the triple murderers, the people who raped, women who have tried to kill themselves, people who fucking harmed their children, and war veterans and shit like that. That was my understanding, not my understanding. I was on my own stuff at that time. Wrote a lot of good songs and came up with a lot of great philosophies. But again, I ended up in some mental institutions. Some were bullshit by the county, and that's another session. But some were because I was way too far in psychotic world, and I couldn't get out, nor did I have the peripheral to, like, not be in reality. So this is what I'm going to explain is, so the stereotypical schizophrenic psychotic personality disorders that harm people. Like I said, if you're having psychotic episodes that, like, the universe is talking to you and wants you to be nice and productive and have a job and have a family, there you go. Good mental illness. It's when it causes you suffering. And the common ones are, one, we're dead and in hell. Who believes that? Oh my God, you guys have mental illness. We're dead and in hell. And this is some sort of otherworldly thing. But they feel it to the extent of almost like a drug trip. Like it's a brain, it's a like chemical sensation of panic, but like sorrow, that they feel this isn't reality, this isn't life, they've died and gone to hell. The other one is obviously CIA watching them and all those other things, which, by the way, I had all these psychotic episodes and ideas way before it was mainstream, so that's what I'm kind of pissed about. Like, I believed, like, when I went crazy, like crazy, I thought the government was paid off politicians. I was like, they're just acting, but secretly someone's running it. I was like, the government is spying us. This is before social media. Internet was still dial-up at this time. Or wait, am I lying about my age and saying I'm 27 because I just had a birthday? Or what I celebrated was the time that my energy had been in this consciousness existence orbiting the solar system on our days and cycles and things like that. There we go. That's a psychotic episode perception of 24 hours. No, it's not psychotic to say that. Stay on subject, Mark. Okay, so hold on. I can't. Stay on subject, RanDoM. Like, which one is the fucking one that was saying the thing, and which one's the one that dropped the ball? That's what I got to figure out in the past. Yeah, there we go. Schizophrenic thing of muffin personality disorder. But that's not what we're here for. So, saying that all of these ideas that people now just commonly accept, global countries interfere with our psyche. The media is lying to you to program you. These were things that put me in a mental institution. There was some other shit. I'm just trying to portray myself as the innocent victim. But saying shit like that is but it's like now everyone believes it, and now it's not even mainstream. And the idea that the government would jack people and experiment on them, and it was like people were terrified of me because I would say these shit and stuff, and I ended up in a mental, I don't know, I just censored myself. There was no need to do that. Oh my God, I said the S word. Sorry. But so, and then now it's like majority of people know that, and it's fucking historical fact that the government jacked people and experimented on them and did, like, you know, the MK Ultra and stuff like that. So now it's too mainstream. So I have to think of more psychotic things. Like, do tell that I'm joking, and that's the problem. When I don't have the energy, I can't emphasize as much as like a joke. So I'm like, oh, now psychotic episodes are mainstream, which I'm gonna get into that. I believe we're in a collective hysteria based on things that the government is doing. I feel like not the government, the media, the secret aliens that are, no, but see, like reptile shit like that is is like all those conspiracy holes. By the way, anyone that's tripping down the we know the secret, I hate shows like that of we go down the rabbit hole further than the other. It's like an ego, like they just want to make up the crazier. They're actually these ancient demons that rose in government and prophecy and all this. Like, it's like, no, you want to know the truth? Here's the end of the rabbit hole, is we're all energy in this collective perception, and positive and negative energy, which can be scientifically proven. Consciousness is this temporary thing. Death is eternal. And though we don't know what happens when we die, we know energy can't be destroyed or created. It can only be transformed, so it'll be another transformation. We know space is infinite and there's other dimensions and galaxies. We also understand that. So that's what the end of the rabbit hole is it's all just a collective manifested sensation of frequencies, and whether they feel good or bad or otherwise, that's the end of the rabbit hole. That's that. So when you're like, oh, the government are satanic demons, so if that makes you an angel, then there's the balance of positive and negative energies subatomically, but also spiritually, of feeling and emotion, which again is just conscious chemicals. There you go. I solved the mystery for you. You don't have to do your fucking Illuminati UFO podcasts anymore. I solved it right there. So yeah, so I got fucking put in mental hospitals for saying shit like that. Now, all right, we can take that as, oh, I forgot. The third symptom is the game show one, where, and I think this is a symptom of people, like the fact that television has been in our life and movies, because I can't imagine, I should say the fucking symptom first so people can know what I'm talking about. That's another fucked up thing with me, is I talk about these things because it's normal in my world. I've studied these things as a teenager, early 20s. So when I say, oh, you know, the third thing, but I think it's because of TV. It's like, no, we have no idea what the fuck schizophrenic and psychotic episodes and symptoms are. That's why we're watching you, Mark RanDoM. You are courageous and heroic enough to, yeah, see, I can't get the cadence off for people to think that I'm joking. So, all right, it's the game show theory of people think that things are set up in sort of a game show. Like they'll walk into their kitchen and see their friends or like their spouse, or they'll go to work and they think everyone's like actors, almost like a stage is going to come down or a stage is going to go up and be like surprise, or that things are coordinated for some kind of ulterior motive and it doesn't feel real. It feels like they're on a... Sorry about that. The fucking camera went out in the thing and I feel really upset. For whatever reason, I pride myself on being able to do an hour straight through of just giving advice. Maybe because it either breaks up the momentum, or I just want to pride myself of, oh, I can have a stream of consciousness for hours. I'm the greatest non-cast ever. Like, as much as I hate it, it's like if I want to show the best of it, like, that's ridiculous. I'm sure fucking cokeheads could do that for 36 hours straight. So what I was saying is the game show theory, yeah, just it's building up the momentum. That's what makes it good. No, I don't want to get good at fucking podcasting, especially since I did live shows throughout the last 2.5 weeks after not leaving my apartment for like, it is what it is. This apartment, not the one in fucking not North New York or fucking upstate, whatever. Fucking upstate. That sounds like a thing. Oh, we were fucking upstate. So, okay, psychotic symptoms. So this causes people struggling. See, I was in such a rhythm until that mechanical thing happened. Oh, fucking TV, that's what I was saying. Or the government knew that I was trying to save people with schizophrenic and they couldn't control anyone if I had saved the world because we're doing Mr. Beast numbers. Callback of a callback of the session within the session. Session, that's, yeah, I'm going to just pronounce words wrong. I don't know the English language. The English language needs to know me. So... what the fuck was I saying? That should be the fucking what the fuck was I? Oh my god. I think I literally just said that before. I didn't know that, but then that goes to the joke of saying I'm going to say shit repeatedly that I'm not going to be aware of. So the idea of game show is I can't, the psychotic episode of thinking you're on a game show and thinking that people are actors and it's a movie set and you're detached from reality. I can't believe they had that thousands and thousands of years ago. I think that's a byproduct of growing up with like television, screens, and media. So who knows what psychotic, oh, perfect example is how the majority of people believe this is a fucking psychotic schizophrenic symptom of simulation theory, which is that we're all in a computer simulation, much like the movie The Matrix. I can't imagine people had that philosophy thousands and thousands of years ago when it was just dirt and and huts and stone buildings and fire. They're like, oh my God, this is a computer simulation by the internet. And that it is like, well, what's the fucking, you get what I'm saying? So I feel like things like that do not contribute to it, but that's the updated thing. So 200 years from now, 2400 or whatever, there'll be more psychotic symptoms based on what the event is. So I know I said I was going to give advice. I hope there's someone not having an active psychotic episode right now and they're like, come on, just get to the fucking advice, how to get back in reality. So those are common symptoms. But then there's other ones of like everyone's an alien, people are clones, people have been clones. That's so I could go on and on about episodes that I've had. Like I've had them all. There were like fucking Pokemon. I've had, but again, and I live in more a schizophrenic state of mind and psychotic episodes. I'm just aware of it so I can navigate reality accordingly. And that's what the goal is to recognize what, let's say you really believe it, right? Let's say you believe everyone are actors and there's some ulterior motive and they're spying on you for some reason. And if you can recognize that just for a moment, because I know you're like, no, you don't get it, you're paranoid, you feel they're out to get you, you don't understand they're actors, and then you go crazy trying to prove it, you think there's bugs in the wall, right? And someone in reality is like, that's not true, this is real life, we're humans and we're just out in public. So what I do, and this is how I've been successful my whole life of not ending up in a mental institution anymore, as far as you know, keep that image clean, random, is you act as if both are true and you find the middle ground in terms of how would you navigate yourself if this were reality and you were in public just at the grocery store, and how would you navigate yourself if you were on a movie set and things where actors are real. Because if you're in a psychotic state, you have that, oh my God, it's a movie set. So then you act bizarre, and then in public they have to call someone and you end up in a mental hospital from that experience at the grocery store, whereas someone in the collectively based perception of reality of humans are just natural and we're at a grocery store and things like that don't end up in a mental hospital. So you go to the grocery store as if both are true, because there's a set of behaviors you can conduct and words you can say and ways you can maneuver where it's both in reality of it's just normal and both on a movie set without alerting people that you feel that way. And that's how I've done it the whole way through. That's how I've been aware of it. I'll give you an example. It's like, I don't know if you ever seen, because this is kind of an obscure reference, the movie Safe House with Ryan Reynolds. It's about he works for the CIA or something, and he's tracking some like terrorist criminal. So what happens in the movie is the terrorist criminal starts saying the CIA is corrupt and using you, this is a false thing, and the CIA is saying he's a terrorist, X, Y, and Z. So he doesn't know who to trust. So if he goes to the right and follows the CIA, he's against this. But if he leans too much into like what the terrorist is saying, it's like which one is right and which one is wrong. So the whole movie, he walks the line between both of them as if both of them are true, and that's how you navigate a psychotic or schizophrenic episode, is you find the behavioral patterns as if both of them are true and not leaning one to the left or one to the right, not leaning into it's all reality and everything's okay, but not leaning into it's a psychotic episode and it's both. So this is a simple example I'll give you of, other schizophrenic things is thinking that the TV's talking to you and things like that, that they're sending a direct message to you. So for instance, let's say I'm watching the news, or I don't watch the news. I don't have a TV here. Oh, electrical things. That's the thing with this lighting is it's like, my retina issues. You don't know me. I'm fucking random. No one knows who I am. No one knows anyone because, but it's just fucking with me whole much. But the sacrifice and suffer I do for you, let alone war soldiers in third world countries that give their lives and their families, I sacrifice having an uncomfortable thing because of a retina issue where I can only live in the darkness. But so let's say you think the TV is giving you a message. A news story comes on, and saying TV feels weird because I don't watch TV, nor do I have one. So let's say you're on your phone, right, and you see a story, and it says something about there will be angels at this thing, but angels are like, let's say it's like a charity group, but in your brain you really think, oh, they're angels and they have a secret message. So if you go there believing that they're angels and you're truly convinced in your heart and soul, you will you will end up psychotic, behave weird, and or people will you won't have the best reputation. However, if you go there and act as if they are angels, and let's say they might have some secret message, but you don't want to pry, you act like you're like, oh, you go, you're really an angel from another dimension. What's the message? You're going in the mental hospital. It's like a game you could play with reality of like, all right, what moves do you make? Like in checkers or chess, where you say the wrong thing, going in a mental hospital. Going to that charity I hypothetically described, if you say, what's the secret message? You're going in a mental hospital. If you go there and you don't say anything and just treat it as normal, your fucking psychosis is gonna fuck with you. So you go there and act as if both are true. And or if you want to go there, if you feel that compelled to, the TV is sending a message directly to you, you're there, and then you're like, okay, I'm just in reality, my thoughts are crazy, even though you feel that like burning feeling, and we're going to talk about like trigger de-escalation later. You feel that, you just act as if I know this is crazy, but then you'll say silly things. My way is joking about it. Like if I see someone that has like a golden hat and I like, oh man, I had this weird thing. Like, what if you had some secret message I needed to know? And then his joke is like, well, what would that be? And they might say something casually, or you say it coyly or things like that, but you act completely as if you were in normal like reality and you don't have those psychotic episodes. And there you go. That's how you go to that event. You walk between the balance of being in reality and you're validating your psychotic episode. You're not suppressing it, but you're not going 100% in to where you ruin your reputation and or you end up in a mental hospital. Now I'm giving to you, I know that's a hilarious statement, here's how to not ruin your reputation by Mark RanDoM, when the whole perceptive of me is a misunderstanding, misrepresented thing. So so now we're going to talk others kind of psychotic symptoms. Is you have to understand the things that trigger you, because there's things that trigger you. Like if you are, I want to get back to the TV thing, I'm sorry, I'll go back to triggers. Is sometimes it can be a game of like, let's say you think negative thoughts and then a story comes up and you're like, oh my God, I created that in my head. Well, it's like then reality is the game in the world where then it's like almost like you're in a game of, all right, now it's on you to create positive thoughts. And let's say you have crazy intrusive thoughts. It's about learning the patterns to control those thoughts. And that like, then you live as if, who would go about their life living as if reality is some kind of hypothetical dreamish nightmare, nightmarish dream, needing to save the world by promoting logos and disguising it as performative art? That would be insane. And then they play a character of someone who has a psychotic episode, has curtains behind, hiding their real schizophrenia and deep psychotic episode. Who would do that? I think each episode I'm going to say some like facetious, who would do that, and reveal so you can connect with me and understand, and we can develop a friendship and bond. But again, I'm not saying like this is not the TV is watching you, I know it, man, like everyone else. I'm explaining how to walk the balance between both of those, of just like, okay, it's insane for me to think my thoughts and or energy has an effect around me, but as if it was like an escape room, then life becomes this escape room of, I then have to, whatever my goal is and my focus, I walk between the balance of reality and psychotic episodes, validating both of them equally. I don't slam towards one or the other, but then I play the escape room game, and I may come off weird to others, but it's knowing when and where. It's almost like social etiquette. People know when and where and how to say things or do things. That's what you have to do with your mental illness and things like that. So that's basically that's that in a nutshell. That I don't know where that phrase comes from. That's that in a nutshell. But I don't know, maybe because nutshells, I actually don't know what a nutshell is. I'm thinking of an acorn as we're visualizing it. But yeah, so that's how you remain both in reality and in psychotic world at the same time, whereas you get better at it as you go along. And I said this as a joke and it made people laugh, but I remember someone, they've had their first psychotic episode. Oh, you remember your first one just like it was yesterday. But they're like, no one's going to believe me. He thought there was bugs in the wall, that there was cameras, so he would kind of take apart. And everyone thought he's fucking crazy. And I'm like, oh, that reminds me of my early 20s. But yeah, I've had so many. So I was like, well, what are the bugs for? Like, get to the root of it. They're to spy on me. Okay, they're to destroy your life. All right, well then act as if that's true and be cool, but also realize you're fucking insane and be cool. You know what I mean? Have fun, chill, play a video game, work on a project, schedule work jobs, because that's what you would be doing. But if you're like, no, the bugs are they're not gonna mess with you. So then he was able to stop taking things apart because he was able to live as if the government was spying on him, but also live as if he was just fucking crazy and in a psychotic episode, and also able to function by going through and not have it fuck up his life. Like me saying, like, let's say I really felt the government did shut off all that. That would be sick if it shut off again. Like, just, damn, this is sleep deprivation and all that other wackiness. But then I act as if I'm like, okay, now I'm in defense mode. Now I'm in going along mode. But now I'm in also reminding myself I'm going towards a psychotic episode. So I'll give you a perfect example of me. And again, it's like if I see like a Voltar machine, like I don't know why I've just been seeing them everywhere. You get the fortune, right? A psychotic person will be like, this is a fortune that I need to follow for life. And so believing it's real, the majority of people in reality realize it's just a silly game, but there's movies about them. Me, and I'm the anomaly, so I'm trying to teach you how to walk between both worlds, reality and psychotic schizophrenic episodes, is I know it's a silly little game, but I will look at the message and then see how it could apply to me and give me some sort of feeling, but I won't let it misdirect me further into a psychotic episode or closer into reality. I stay in my purgatory. I stay in between the hallways. So I am on the border of reality's here and I am gone from that. But psychotic schizophrenia land, I am not in. I am in the middle and I perceive both of them. And then I find the connections of like, okay, what is the same about reality and psychotic schizophrenia world? Then you focus on the similarities and you walk the middle. That's exactly how you do it. So now we're going to talk about triggers. It's not like everything triggers. Like if you see a loaf of bread at the store, it's not going to trigger you into a psychotic episode unless you have some association to it. So it's recognizing what your triggers are, recognizing what are the things that send you into a psychotic episode. For instance, people remember that lady on the plane, right? Let's hypothetically say that wasn't her first psychotic episode, right? She should know, like, certain things, like let's say some cabinet or thing, some weird looking cabinet could trigger a psychotic episode. She should see that and be like, okay, that's a triggering thing, so I'm gonna then talk myself down. You have to have the mental tools to understand. I mean, this makes it so people feel sad for me. There are times where people have had psychotic episodes, they're like, oh my god, is that what it's like in your head all the time? And weirdly, there's this internet brag about being not mentally well, so I wouldn't fucking say that. It just is a joke, and it's like, but yeah, but I've gotten so used to it, I understand it. So it's recognizing what your triggers are. Like, I know what mine are, and the de-escalation tactics of realizing, like, okay, your thoughts start racing, right? Well, then let them pass through you. Because what is giving into a psychotic episode of, no, it's it, but just trying to control something? You're, oh my God, this is like the guy's not real. He's some interdimensional thing, right? Okay, act as if he is, and act as if you're just in a psychotic episode and not a full-blown one, because then you're in the panic, but just let the thoughts flow through you. Like, your thoughts are, if you say this person's not real, but then you let it contain you and you're trying to control, oh no, this person might harm me because they're not real and everything and all, and then you go further. Whereas if you just let the thoughts flow through you, this isn't real, it's just an intrusive thought, but I'm going to act as if that person is an interdimensional, not real person, but I'm also just going to enjoy the flight. I'm going to play it cool and be in the middle and slowly de-escalate myself by tools and tactics of understanding thought patterns, because it's all thought patterns. Someone who's crazy and schizophrenic on the street, the way they got that way is over time they developed unhealthy thought patterns that harm them. Again, there's people with mental illnesses that make their life enjoyable. They think they're doing, like, they're just amazing. Whereas this is for people, if they're psychotic and schizophrenic, that's making you suffer. Is first, it's like the government isn't real. So then they like get those type of thoughts. Then like everyone's demons and we're in hell. So if you feel those things and think those things and you don't change your thoughts or try to look at another perspective, and you do that over time, years and years from now, you will be unfunctionably suffering. So it's always about seeking the other side. It's always about seeking what the alternative is and then riding the middle lane, because it's over time. Let's say you've just had psychotic thoughts for a few years, so you're further into psychotic world. You bring yourself back to reality again by not letting the patterns and thoughts, by absorbing different thoughts. And even though you're like, no, I don't believe it, man, I can't trust the government or I can't trust the media, things, be like, okay, let's just break it down logically. And I know logic is hard for a psychotic episode. Is like, okay, well, they're paid, they're humans just like you. No, they're aliens and everything. Okay, let's say they're aliens, they still have a code of conduct that they have to follow. No, they're shape-shifting. It's like, okay, but then second by second, also just fucking turn it off. You don't need that. Again, being in a psychotic episode and letting it consume you is just about control. It's trying to control it because it's like, because you think it affects you. So act as if it affects you and be like, okay, I'm going to navigate, because the one way that you can show that it is by acting not affected by it. And that's how you go about the day. For all we know, there could be psychotic people or people having psychotic episodes all the time, but they don't let it affect them. They just act like they're chill and everything. They're just imagine everyone's walking around embarrassed that they think people are going to think that they know that there's some secret war. I see. That's not some subliminal message saying they know. That's my fucking missed speech patterns. Or subconsciously, maybe that's why I have this fucking disorganized speech disorder, is to communicate subconscious fucking messages. Who knows? See, there's my who knows again, but I can't fucking say that on a session where I'm trying to help people with schizophrenic psychotic episodes. So it's acting as if, and there's always a base thought I can go back to, acting as if, but also because if it consumes you. So let's say you've been down that path for like 3 years. You slowly seek. It's all about seeking information within yourself and connecting to the collective reality, even if you don't want to, because you still feel they're shape-shifting reptiles. You do it for your own mental health of, okay, they're just humans. And then you slowly rebuild those thought patterns. So over time of how to navigate in reality and how to just let the thoughts flow through you and how to just realize that it's a control thing. So the best way to control it is by controlling yourself and de-escalation tactics. Like for me, it's Eliza. People are like, oh, it's fucking a weird internet thing, but it's not. I live my life in real life experiences. I do internet shit because I have to, but I never really live on the internet. But it's like when I'm in that, it's this is just a personal thing. But all right, like having a drink, like having like this, for whatever reason, I can navigate psychotic episodes better when I have a drink in my hand, which is very weird and it's funny, and I don't know where I developed that. Maybe because it makes me feel centered, even if the thoughts are going everywhere. It's like, okay, this is centered. It's a momentary thing of like taking a moment to breathe. Everyone knows like breathing control of like you breathe in and out, you slow your breathing, and when you learn these tactics over time, looking at the other half, understanding and being aware of your mental illness, finding tools to talk yourself down, breathing control, feeling grounding, which is the exercise of like feeling the ground beneath you. Like you go through that. Then if you do that for years, then you can be, if you have a psychotic episode, you're more likely to also have thought patterns of reality, because thought patterns are just pre-programmed. That's what they are. When you're consciously thinking and seeking and getting new information and deciding what you believe, what you don't believe, what you're going to keep in your mind versus what you not, that's growing your mind. You're living off of autopilot of your thoughts and unconscious. So if your thoughts and unconscious are full in psychotic world, it's going to cause a lot of suffering to where you're going to end up in a mental hospital and or unable to function in reality. Now, if you follow the tactics I've talked about, you will also be able to like not end up there, because your thought patterns, your autopilot, like for me, my autopilot initially is, oh my God, that's a subliminal message just for me. It's about the fucking me being the Messiah and Savior and or people trying to stop me from being a rapper. But because I've thought so many times of it's just in reality, there's everything else out here, I'm just going to put on music, I'm going to drink my soda, that's where my subconscious automated thoughts go to my, so then I'm now back in the balance, which is how I can exist like the master of both worlds, the hero's journey. No, but it's like I can be between both worlds. I'm not psychotic schizophrenic. I have a little half of that, and I'm not in reality 100% like all of you lucky people. Well, not lucky people. There's the Mr. Beast numbers, but people watching this are, you know, just trying to give you a little help. But that's the thing, is I'm like the guider of, like, you know how there's like shamans for people who do drug trips? I'm the fucking, when your life falls apart, your ego identity is shattered, you hit rock bottom, you lost every career, and you move to a crazy place, and then you start burst out and your brain goes psychotic. I'm the one to guide you through it. Like, I've been in psychotic land for, how old am I? Like a good 20 years. So I adapted to it, and I learned, and I grew, and I understood, and it does help in a way, because again, it's rituals of control. But then again, so this is the thing, and I should have said this at the beginning. It is not your fault that you have a mental illness, but it is your responsibility to understand your intrusive thoughts, to change your thought patterns, to build healthier exercises so you can mentally be a part of society and not contribute to it negatively or harmfully, which I know is a weird thing, because then you're like, well, wait, everyone else contributes harmfully to society, but it's about your mental health and medication. It is important to have medication, to have therapy, to have a decent something to talk yourself down. People sometimes have, positive influence. I don't even know the fucking thing, and it's a normal thing. Support group. That just shows you how weird I've been, where I've been in psychotic world. I couldn't think of fucking a support system, which is literally friends and family that can help you stay in reality. Unfortunately, some people have friends and family that brought them in a psychotic world. Who would have that? Who would have mentally ill parents that would bring them into psychotic world, and then they had to unlearn it, and it's been a hellish process because reality was mean to them? Who would that person be? I'm just kidding. My parents were fucking awesome. I love them. I haven't spoken to them in years. If they ever need anything, just, you know, it is what it is. So, what the fuck was I saying? There's my soul. Hold on. We'll do the psychotic episode thing. I'll bring myself back into reality and say an excuse that I just wanted to joke. Okay, support system. Maybe that's the thing. Every time I drink a thing of soda, or not soda, every time I have a sip, it brings me back in reality. That's like my oxygen in the game. People are like, I always see you just have a drink, and it's like, maybe I would be so full crazy. Well, that's the fucking meme that females have, that or mothers have. I'm not me until I had my coffee, just like that. I'm not out of psychotic schizophrenic land until I have a sip of some drink of whatever I'm drinking. So support system and medication and things that work for you. Like for me, listening to music is what does it. It keeps me in reality and keeps psychotic schizophrenia of just like, it is what it is. Drink how many times I say psychotic schizophrenia. Psychotic schizophrenia is what I just said. That's from psychotic schizophrenia world. I've probably said it 100 times, but my emphasis is on giving you the advice and the love, and also because it's from me. This is what I don't like about certain things, is people won't go on medication because they're like, no, I need to be alert and I need to be truthful. But it's like, then why not just think that way? Like, people off medication will have a psychotic episode, think the TV is talking to them, whereas they're like, no, but I need to get the subliminal messages. It's like, but that's causing you suffering and an emotional reaction. If you are on antipsychotics, you can still then think, maybe the TV is giving me a subconscious message. You get like, that's what I'm saying, is it's not an either or. You have to be in psychotic world and suffer, or you have to be just 100% in reality and feel like you're missing something. Is you can be on medication so the episodes don't cause you harm, but you can also still think maybe reality is wrong and the fucking TV is sending me a message. You get what I'm saying? It's both and neither. I really should watch the movie Safe House again. I watched it like 13 years ago, and I don't even know if that's the plot of the movie. I just always remembered that because I remember Ryan Reynolds' character, the guy in between whether the CIA was corrupt or not, or whether the terrorist was really, I remember him making actions and moves to where he didn't lean towards one side or the other. He had to pick the thing that was similar to both of them. So it's connecting similarities between psychotic episode and reality. And medication, you do need to take medication. Again, taking medication doesn't mean it numbs you from the fucking schizophrenic thoughts. It just numbs the feelings to where you're functionable in reality. Functionable, I don't know if that's a word. So that's basically the process. But again, I'm telling you this because I live it and I know it and I'm experienced with it. A doctor can't tell you, no offense, doctors out there. Imagine I get fucking sued for saying this shit. He can't give that, but it's like a doctor can only read from a book and prescribe medicines based on ideas. And I'm not going to get into the pharmaceutical, that there's pharmaceutical reps that tell them to push pills on people, but it's your responsibility to know what medications work for you and which ones don't. It sucks when you're on psychotic medications. I had to be on many of them, and because of circumstances changing in my life, I've had to change doses, I've had to change medications and things like that, but it is on you. Don't let the doctor tell you if a medicine's not working for you, if it's making you more crazy, you have to, it's almost like you have to be your own doctor. You have to research how everyone else is, how most people have reacted to it. You have to research what the medication is. You really have to write down and really analyze, not just what you want the medication to be, but how it is affecting you different from that. And even if you're going from several medications and now there's like 5 differences and things like that, you do have to find, doctors call it like the magic cocktail, because there's like hundreds of thousands of psychiatric medications. Or I don't know. I truly don't know. Like, maybe let's say there's fucking 1,000. Fucking 1,000. You're fucking 1,000 pills. That's what you have to do. You have to fuck 1,000 pills and then your illness will go away. No, you have to be the Hebrew Messiah, become a successful rapper and comedian, bring an elixir to humanity, then your mental illness will go away. Random. No. So I don't know why I say no. That's my fucking, again, the comic thing of like, well, or now, like bringing yourself back to composure. So, but knowing the medications, because a doctor doesn't know what's going on inside your head and in your life. So you have to research the medicine. You have to really know what it's doing to you. I'm sorry this hasn't been that funny of an episode, but at least it has the spark, because it first came in low energy. So that's my thing, and I feel so bad about the cut. Imagine I pride myself on having it as one consistent stream, but I don't have that ability anymore. So there's like 50 or 40 cuts. There's going to be a cut soon because I have to change. I think the album's almost over. Oh, see, I'm throwing callbacks within callbacks in each session. But yeah, is knowing the medication, because psychiatric medication can save your life or it can destroy your life. And the problem is some lives that it saves, it destroys other. Like, there's a medication that I've only tried it twice, once as a teenager, once in my late 20s. I did some fucked up shit on it, so it doesn't work for me. But I know someone who would literally be running in the streets naked saying, like, fire people are out to get me if he was not on that medication. So it's knowing what works for you. And again, you have to research, but that's the thing is never feel bad that you have a mental illness. Never feel bad. Again, like this is why it has to be a series, because the other one where I said, where I was giving advice to teenagers and adults of like, fucking take pride in it. I mean, you don't have to take pride, but fuck everyone if they hate you for a mental illness or you think differently of people. That's a weird thing to feel insecure about. Well, no, I get it. The biological need for the peer support, because that used to mean survival back in the day. And obviously I'm like some kind of like fatalistic death goer. No, I don't have a death wish, but the idea of like, I don't need others to survive. Like, all right, we're going to get into a life of isolation on another session. But again, walking through both of them, realizing that, like, and then taking care of yourself, understanding your triggers, being proactive and retraining your thought patterns and to be in reality, and both validating the psychotic world can get you a peer support. What the fuck was it? Safety net? What the fuck? I can't even think of it. That's how not isolated, I'm chilling, but fuck, support system of peers. So it's like, there's just something about me saying, oh, other people helping you with your mental illness, that's fucking weird to me. But yeah, so you know what's going on inside you, but you have to, damn it, I just got really depressed. Oh, I'm going to leave that shit in. I'm so prideful on it being one stream. I want people to know, no, this was one stream of consciousness. I don't know what the fuck happened to the camera before. The government's out to get me because they know I'm getting stronger about saving humanity, and I'm getting closer and closer, and I'm almost at the goal, almost like being at the end of an escape room. But that doesn't count as a freestyle rap. That didn't really, I don't know if it rhymed. I was just, so there we go back again. So this is, at some point, this is just going to turn into sessions of me just saying callbacks of like, oh, this thing, or oh, past the, I don't know. So, oh, don't feel bad about your mental illness, but it is your responsibility. A lifelong affliction, but it makes you stronger. It gives you the ability to help people. It gives you like the ability to, when you overcome that, you are stronger, you are mentally more resilient, can be a better person than most. I know that's weird, but people are kind of banal and they're not really bad, but they're not really good. Whereas suffering from this, overcoming it, makes you a better person, and you spread more positive energy in the world. And that sucks because I'm applying that to me, and it's like, damn, the universe had to give me a severe mental illness for my life for me to become a great person. But I don't know. I was a good person before. But yeah, it's 20-year anniversary of being in psychotic schizophrenia world. I know it's... See, I'm always feeling of like the lowest denominator of, I know people are pissed at me because I say psychotic schizophrenia many times, but it's like I should be focusing on the higher of this. So yeah, that's how to deal with psychotic episodes and also be in reality. But you can be prideful to it to an extent, because I'm thinking of this one person that I met that was had a psychotic episode but kind of wasn't aware of it, and it was causing social issues for her. And one kind of went crazy thinking that they were like the queen and they were like trying to jump fences and everything. So there you go again, is acting as if it's true, but also recognizing it's just a schizophrenic episode, but then retraining your thought pattern, but then also taking responsibility and de-escalating your triggers, because it's not all the time, it's just certain things. Figuring out what your triggers are, then figuring out de-escalation, then reprogramming your thought patterns and training, and then understanding the balance of psychotic. Because I know one day I'm right. I know it's a subconscious spiritual war between angels and demons. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not psychotic. That's just the front I put on for you guys. I fucking know it. I'm just kidding. Did I hit the 1 hour mark? I don't know. But that seemed like a perfect place to end it. So thank you all. I hope I saved advice. Sorry it wasn't that funny. Sorry it was weird energy. I don't know if I'm ever going to do this side of the couch again, but comedy special, Mark. See, I'm so into it has to be one stream of consciousness. Leave mistakes in. It shows a real spirit, because when AI comes in and fucking everyone's fucking everyone, that's what humanity's just a planet of sex. It's like, instead of Planet of the Apes, Planet of Sex. But no, of AI creating these podcasts and everything has to be so I'm leaving mistakes in so you can know this is a real soul talking to you. This is a real spirit trying to connect and uplift people who have had this suffered affliction, because I love you and because I fucking need a resume to get booked in tri-state areas to have a fucking podcast. But I think podcasting is the lamest fucking thing ever, and I feel that more in my heart, more as I just did what was it? Of where I traveled and did venues of music and comedy and made everyone share, and it was great and awesome. So, comedy special, Mark Random presents Hebrew Messiah, parentheses, seriously, this is comedy. I don't know when I'm going to release it. Dual album, We Are All Mark Random, and then the sequel, We Are All Mark Random 2, parentheses, We Became Mark Random, a novel about writing the fourth dimension, thinking fourth dimensionally, and Past the End with Mark and Random, because this is past the end, and I don't know. I love you all. God bless.